Gentlemen and my fellow UB students, thank you for joining us on this special night. I came to the United States of America on 18th August 2011. As expected, my first few months here was filled with me adjusting to my new independent life. My days were filled with making friends, completing my homework, and doing exactly what is expected out of college students, that is having fun. But being the person I am, I knew that I would not be satisfied just doing lessons and hanging out with my close friends. I wanted my college experience to be meaningful. I wanted to be a part of a movement led by students who stood firmly by their beliefs, despite all the criticism and allegations that were thrown against them. So when I came across a newspaper article about the difficulties faced by a certain pro-life group in setting up the club and in dealing with random acts of violence, I became intrigued. Till that moment, I never knew or realized that there was actually a pro-life and a pro-choice group. It's not just me. A lot of my friends from abroad, they never knew that this massive movement in which a war between pro-choice and pro-life was actually happening. On my part, I had always assumed that the life of an unborn child or that of any random third person you meet would take precedence over everything else. I was born in one of the most beautiful, culturally rich and vibrant country in this world, India. I grew up in Bangalore, which is in South India. My father is a member of Legislative Assembly, which I think in American terms you can say is a senator. And my mother is a professor of economics. I'm very proud of that. Dad once told me that when my mom was pregnant, my grandfather would tell my parents, "That child in there, it better be a boy." When my father asked, "What if the child turns out to be a girl?" My grandfather replied, "Then you continue having children till the boy is born." My paternal grandfather's reasons against having a girl child was so grounded that he didn't see it fit to visit me when I was born. You see, for many people, especially for those living in the rural areas of third world countries, having a girl child is a huge burden, and having a male child is like the greatest gift of all. Why? Because boys carry the family name. They're the providers. They're the strong ones who are capable of carrying family responsibilities. To them, a girl was nothing but a headache, one who had to be married, one for whom sufficient dowry had to be given in the form of jewelry and lots of cash. And worst part, if the girl was sent back from her husband's house in disgrace because she could not bear a male child, then she would be reduced to nothing. Because you see, in these conservative societies, if a woman is thrown out of her husband's house because she could not bear a male child, then no man will ever marry her again. No one will even look at her. Not even her own parents. They will just assume her to be a burden. The fear of having a girl child is so great that female feticide has reached alarming levels in recent times. Statistics show that nearly 10 million female feticides have occurred in the past 2 decades. And out of the 12 million girls born, 1 million do not live to see the first birthdays. China too faces a similar problem. It's not just India. You see, with the one-child policy that is being enforced by the communist government in China, most parents, they get the girl child aborted, wanting the one child they're allowed to have to be a male. I recently heard some appalling news that in one of the government hospitals in Haryana is a state in northern India, it's a very rural area, people found a well filled completely with dead female bodies and female fetuses. A whole well filled with dead, innocent babies, most of whom were female. The brutality of the whole situation sends shivers up my spine to this day. I also read a very ridiculous story on one of the news websites that one woman sold her newborn child for rupees 5,000, which is around $95. She didn't sell her baby for food or because she had to provide for her family or because she needed shelter or simply because she couldn't take care of a child. No, she sold her child to buy a new pair of jeans, a couple of tops, and a brand new cell phone. This woman considered such materialistic things to be more worthy than her child's future. My friends, it never ceases to amaze and shock me at the same time how the value of life has degraded over the years. You might be wondering why I'm telling you all this. You see, when I hear people claiming to be pro-life, at the same time they get the girl child aborted to have a male child, the hypocrisy of the whole situation angers me. When one stands in favor of giving an unborn child the opportunity to live, one must also realize that the sex of the child does not matter. What matters is giving life to that child, of giving that child the unconditional love that our parents have given us, and most importantly, realizing what this one ancient proverb says: this world does not belong to us, we have merely borrowed it from our children. In many ways, I am a lucky girl. I have wonderful, educated parents who have given me everything in life. My dad always tells me that he wanted his first baby to be a girl. My parents have never distinguished between me and my brother. They've always treated us the same. In fact, when I informed my father about my decision to come to the US to study, he was so proud of it that he used to answer his phone calls and start his political speeches, not by saying hi or how are you, but by, do you know my daughter is going to be studying in the United States of America? That was quite embarrassing for me because before it was confirmed that I was going, everybody else knew. I was the last person to get to know. You see, for my father, the fact that his daughter is going halfway across the world to study and is going to be living alone and independently, that was like an achievement. It was his way of telling his people, look, girls are as capable as men, and perhaps even more. It's up to us as individuals who have been lucky enough to have parents who decide to give birth to us, who gave us good education, who took care of our basic needs, to come together and stand shoulder to shoulder with our heads held high, and to tell those who mock at us, my friend, this is what we believe in, and we will stand by our belief. For battles are won not through mockery, and definitely not through violence, but by patience, perseverance, and unwavering determination. And as Hubert Humphrey once said, never give in and never give up. Thank you, and I'm proud to be pro-life.
Good evening. My name is Rachel Leitch, and I'm a sophomore UB nursing student. I'm the publicity director for the UB Students for Life Club, and before I introduce a really great friend of mine, I was inclined to tell you guys a story about our struggles on campus. As you all know, we have a lot of events at UB, and one of them is called the Cemetery for the Innocent, and it happened about a week ago. We set up around 300 crosses, which represent the lives lost to abortion, and a couple signs around it, just so that right next to the Union, where all the kids go by and they can all see it. The second day after this was set up, it was caught on tape that a female student took one of our signs that said, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, by God. And she took this sign and then wrote in chalk something, but we aren't really sure what it says. But the next day, we went to the cemetery, and a couple of our club members, we decided that we were going to have a little bit of a vigil and pray in front of the crosses. At this time, the same female, we assume, uprooted one of the crosses and marched up to us and said, I have, this was for my child, this was for my baby girl, I have made peace with God, why can't you all? And she proceeded to throw the cross down at us. We said, would you like to join us? And she just stepped away. Obviously, she's dealing with a lot of pain and she has not made her peace with God. So I'd just like to share that with you all so that we do all these events so that we get everybody involved. We want everybody to know about it, and we just want, we have problems obviously because we're not the most popular group on campus, but we are the most vigilant. So. But also, I would like to introduce to you guys one of my best friends.
Thank you for that kind introduction. Rachel, we joined this club at the same time last year, second semester, and best decision we've made. We've grown to be great friends from that decision, and very happy that we were able to join Christian and all these great people and these community members. It's just a great atmosphere for such a great cause. Also, I would like to thank my parents for being here, who came in from Rochester, and they're very supportive of me and my views. Okay, so I'm new to a lot of you community members around here. My name is Matthew Ramsey. I'm the vice president of this club. I'm a sophomore at UB, economics major, and a cadet through Canisius College for the U.S. Army. I joined this club freshman year, second semester, and the reason for that is I was quite intimidated at first. First semester, I met Christian at orientation freshman year, and I heard about everything that he wants to do, and first semester I started looking through Facebook and whatnot, and I see everything they're doing. He sets out and makes all these goals, and they get a lot of hate from some of the UB students for what we try and set out to do. So honestly, it scared me away at first. So even though Christian continued to get me to join the club, and I did second semester, and first impression was the club had amazing people in it with a great goal, and they wanted to make a positive difference. A lot of clubs here at UB like to say, just here to like get together themselves and share their ideas, but we want to spread our ideas and beliefs. And that's our goal, and we hope to spread that to all of UB, and not only the UB students, but the UB community. An example of this, what happened between me and Christian this summer, was a life was actually at stake when a friend of mine faced the choice of abortion. This is when my involvement in this club just skyrocketed, because when you get that phone call from a friend and you hear about their scenario, it scares you, and you realize, there's actually another life inside or at stake, and you need to do your best to try to save that life. And me and Christian did. We called pregnancy centers and gave her all the resources possible to save her child. She chose abortion, and I still deal with her issues and have not abandoned her or left her after making that decision. And the reason I did that is because I knew that what messages that send if I just turn down and look down on someone if she makes a decision. I hope that she gets forgiveness from God, forgiveness from me and the pro-life community, and then next time that decision comes up, she makes a better choice and learns from her decision previously. So I'm here to talk about the future, but I don't want to do that because the future is now. Before I say that, part of the future is this man right here, John Whited, and part of our next leaders. A very committed kid, very enthusiastic, and ready to lead. He was helpful with this cemetery for the innocents. Him and his parents got crosses that were broken and took them back to their house, put them back together so they could be used for next year. And this is an example of how committed he is and how he actually wants to he's going out of the way to make a difference for this club. And it's things like this and people like this that make UB Students for Life such a great club to be a part of. Now, me and him and other members in this club will follow Christian next year. And as you all know, it's some big shoes to fill. Most of you all know him. He's an outstanding leader for UB Students for Life. And he's the hardest worker I've ever seen. This kid gets literally no hours he gets like 3 hours of sleep probably per night. He is always working with UB Conservatives right here at this table, UB Pro-Life. He went down to DC 2 weeks ago and saw the great Rick Santorum and took pictures with him and was able to talk and share his beliefs with him. And he's all over the place, but he does it very concentrated and one of the hardest workers I know. And this year and in the future, with all of our dedication, we plan to continue and grow the outreach and participation in the community at UB and in Buffalo as well. And our goal, our number one goal, is to be the #1 pro-life club in America. And last year, which Christian will talk about, they were the #1 new club in America, which was a great feat. I believe it was out of 76 clubs or whatnot. This year, we're competing against 600 or so, a much greater amount, and we're up for the challenge. And some of the things that we plan to do in this semester and next are things like 40 Days for Life, which I think you're involved with, and every time I go down to Canisius for ROTC events, I see them on the sidewalk down the road from Planned Parenthood, and I honk my horn in a good way and say how I support them. They're out in the freezing cold, but just you see them and you just hope that it's the last line of defense before that woman goes in and makes her choice to have an abortion. And actually a story was told at our last meeting about how they changed the lady's mind. She came up and she said it was the last line of defense. She was looking for a signal from God, and she got that signal, and it was the 40 Days for Life. And so we appreciate what you guys do, and are greatly, we love that you include us in that. Also, we have debates at school, which I don't know if you guys know anything about, but last year we did a huge pro-life versus pro-choice debate about the morality of abortion. It was over 300 people came. We had a lawyer at it to mediate it, and it was a great case, not just to get our point across and to prove what's the right thing to do, but just student-wise, and looking at it, if you step back and look at it, it's like you saw that students are talking about something meaningful and not something that's nonsense, and that was a great thing. We plan to do that again in early November this year and go strong at them and share our beliefs and tell them why abortion is morally, ethically, in every way wrong. Also, for our activities, we plan more pro-woman activities on campus and in the community. It's tough to word this, but I feel like we are perceived as a male-dominated, and how they want to look at us as we're controlling of women in their decisions. And we're not in any way. We are very pro-women and support women to make the right decision regardless. But if that happens, as the story was just telling, we will stay by the side if that woman does make what we consider the wrong decision and forgive them for it, but always stay by their side and not just give up on people for the mistakes they may make. Also, we are striving for a better relationship with student associations at UB, which we've had a couple of problems with, which Mr. Ansel will touch on very shortly, with our upcoming trip to Washington, D.C. for our March for Life. We want to be a better received club, not in the community because I think we've done that pretty well, but at UB, and have the opportunity to participate in events like other clubs do on campus equally. And we don't want to be muzzled or mistreated because of our beliefs, which I feel like we've had that done from time to time. So lastly, our big event of this year will be the March for Life in Washington, D.C. on January 25th. This huge event will me, Christian, and a couple other members of UB Students for Life will travel down to Washington, D.C. with other like-minded individuals to join a great cause and show our support against abortion and for being pro-life. This is my actually first activist event that will happen, where I'm actually going out of my way just for a great cause, and I'm very excited to do that and do it with such a great group. We're looking forward to a great year and accomplishing many of our goals. Even if we fall short, we will always work our hardest and continue to persevere no matter what problems may arise, and always do our best. And without further ado, this man will do great. He's done great things and will continue to do so in the future. Our leader and president, Christian Ansel.
Before I start, we're going to try to do a 50-50 raffle, $1 a ticket. And after I'm done here, we'll do that raffle. So they're in the back. The guys in the back are doing that. Thank you, Matt, our Mr. Vice President, for those kind words. I hope tonight you won't be like the Vice President last night and interrupt me 84 times. All right.
81 times it was.
81, oh, I thought it was 84.
Either way, it was.
I want to thank the Center for Tomorrow for having us. I want to thank UB Students for Life. Guys, I absolutely love you. Each and every single one of you have made such an impact on my life. I want to thank my two best friends from Clarence for coming. Appreciate your dedication and our friendship. And UB Conservatives, Sometimes I feel like I'm the Mitt Romney of UB. I come and create clubs. But again, it's for a good cause. We combat the left every single day, and I'm happy to say I think we win every single day. So thank you guys for coming out. Really appreciate it. I thank the community members. I say community members a lot, but I have this strong affection for every single person that is not a student, but is coming out to help us, to really aid us in our efforts to promote life on the campus and throughout the university. I truly mean it, because without all of you, we would not be here, and we would not be as successful as we are today. I want to first start off by telling a quick experience that I had about a month ago on my way to see Santorum in DC a couple weeks ago. I was on the plane, and there was a mother and her infant that were in front of me, and there were about a couple toddlers running up and down the halls of the plane, or the aisles, and there was the infant was playing with my hand. He was going back and forth like it was a saw. And I had the funnest time. I love kids, but that was a great experience. But what was really the watershed moment for me was I stopped and I looked into that toddler's eyes. And I said to myself, I'm fighting for you and for others like you. And that was a moment when I knew I was on the right path. Not only are all of us here today promoting life, but we're out there every single day promoting liberty, freedom, and courage. 40 days, every day for 40 days out there. We have politicians that are willing to stand up for life. Mike Madigan is here today. He's running for office, and he is strongly pro-life. We have a Republican group that we have the Clarence GOP also here, very pro-life, and I'm very thankful to have their support. And for all the churches that are here, and again, I go back to that experience of looking in that toddler's eyes and the infant's eyes and saying that we are with you, we are fighting for you. And that other side that believes that, well, they throw out everything that they want, but they never get it right. And we will always get it right. We will always be on the right side of history, and we will never fail. We're all in this together, and what we are doing when protecting the preborn is partaking in the civil rights movement of our time. Our movement encompasses a belief that every human being has dignity, born and preborn. We as individuals have the duty to protect and help those who are defenseless. It is in our moral contract that we assist and aid our sisters who find themselves in trouble. It is our duty to provide resources to our sisters who believe there is no other choice but to end the life of the innocent preborn baby. Finally, it is up to you and me to stand up for the life, stand up for life by using science and philosophy to defend the first inalienable right, and that is life. I can't help but think of Martin Luther King's quote when he said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." This main reason is why we have a pro-life club here at the very liberal university. God put us here. God put me here at this time. God has blessed me to lead passionate pro-lifers, both young men and young women. I thank them for their continued effort. Let me ask you some rhetorical questions about UB Students for Life, and I will give you the answers that you may not know. What does UB Students for Life do when for 3 years straight we have vandalism on our Cemetery of the Innocent presentation? We continue to hold prayer vigils. What does UB Students for Life do when, as we are praying, a woman who lurks in the background charges us with crosses and throws it down in the name of her child? We pray for her. And what does UB Students for Life do when pro-aborts on campus have issue with us and the preborn? We debate them. And we helped bring out 273 people on Holy Thursday to see us beat them single-handedly. Yes, we did, and we did it for life. My friends, what is one thing UB Students for Life does that is so great is we put on this banquet, and next weekend we're going to be putting on our first annual regional conference for all of you, for our young people, and for everyone else in the community to keep promoting this issue. We organize and hold our meetings throughout the month, and we continue to educate, continue to touch, and continue to promote life throughout our campus, in our classrooms, and in the gyms. I've had discussions with athletes, all right? The athletes that may not adhere to what pro-life is. I tell them why everyone, no matter who you are, a jock, nerd, average guy, average Joe, everyone should be pro-life, and this is why. So it happens from the locker room to the classrooms to even being in the car with your friends. My friends, family and to soldiers of life, what does UB Students for Life do amid a lawsuit against the UB Student Association just 2 years ago? Hatred and intolerance on campus and naysayers that surround us. You know what we did? We worked extremely hard with a chip on our shoulder, and we were awarded the best new pro-life club in the nation. That is because of your hard work. That is because of the kids in the center table that have continued to work diligently, that have not given up. When the professors point us out in the classroom, you know what we do? You know what I do? I shoot back. I'm not going to take their credit. We cannot sit back. We must take that first step forward. Because if we allow them to dictate the classrooms, they will dictate our communities, and we cannot let that happen, not on my watch. We had to compete against 80 other new pro-life clubs throughout the country, and the only one that was left standing was UB Students for Life. And I would like to think that with the help of the students, Western New York, that we did build that. We built that through the leadership all the way down, and I am so proud of every single one of them for jumping on the bandwagon. It just goes to show you that there is a direct linkage and image to who we are as a club after our crosses were torn down. We stuck together, and our strength was the last thing standing, not the detractors. But what was the #1 goal that I laid out in front of all of you at last year's banquet a year ago next week? I said my #1 goal as vice president and later president was that this club, UB Students for Life, would be officially recognized by the UB Student Association. Folks, I'm proud to tell you on February 25th, 2012, a day I will never forget, a day that will forever go down in club's history, was the day the University at Buffalo had accepted and certified its first ever established pro-life club. This is because of your support, your prayers, and your time and effort. To those who doubted us, to those who said that we couldn't, boy, I think we sent them a message this past year, and we are not done. We have our first ever regional pro-life conference that I mentioned before that I urge you to attend. We are bringing some of the best pro-lifers from throughout the area and from people from DC to present a great pro-life conference. Our club will be going to March for Life and the National Conference in DC. And I will tell you this, we are shooting and closing in on being the best overall pro-life club in the nation. That is our goal, and I will work tirelessly. Mom, I will lose some sleep in order to get this award. This is our team goal, and we're not just chasing an award. This is about chasing our dreams as pro-lifers, chasing women that feel as though abortion is their only option. We're chasing them because we want to save them. We want to save them and their preborn children. It's about being activists, educators, and difference makers. By the time spring comes along, I will have been with this club for 5 semesters. It seems so short, though at times I must admit it has seemed so long. It has been an absolute pleasure building this group, working with community members and challenging our campus. I will never back down, and neither will the club. UB Students for Life is constantly making news, becoming larger as a group, and continuing its mission on saving lives. My friends, community members, and anyone else listening, we have not just made a club, we have made a movement. We have made a movement that is dedicating to creating social change. A movement that is dedicated to reforming how we think about the right to life. I know I and the members are not ashamed of our pro-life position. The great news is this country is becoming more pro-life than ever. And those who believe that the preborn do not have the right to their own life are not only declining in popularity nationally, but they are on the wrong side of human rights history. We have reignited a fire that should have been lit a long time ago. It starts with my generation, and I truly believe that abortion and the death of the preborn babies in the name of choice will end with my generation. We must expose the other side as they promote abortion on demand, sex and race-selected abortions, and the infringement on everyone's right to freedom and liberty. I pledge to you and to the members that I will always advocate for life issues. I am truly thankful to the members and to all that we have accomplished alongside the community. We will continue to carry upon that success and make a difference. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart, and never give up the fight for life. You be the light for life. Thank you. To see middle school and high schoolers there. This is a chance where our club, UB Students for Life, as college students, can really provide some leadership and show them that it's cool to be pro-life. And we can get great training from those that come from DC and that have a breadth of experience of being pro-life activists. So, our last speaker for tonight, Aisha, are you going to make it over there? Are you getting nervous? Aisha Kreutz. I've known Aisha for a little bit now. She's the president of the Frederick Douglass Foundation, a foundation up in Rochester. And the group inspires me. As a Latin American, I'm able to look at what she does with the minority community and all communities, but specifically the minority community, and promoting conservative values, both social and fiscal values. And I'm proud to have her here today because she not only provides me inspiration, but whenever I see her on Facebook, she gives me a good laugh. So without further ado, I will introduce Aisha Kreutz.
All right, thank you so much, Christian. As he said, my name is Chaplain Aisha Kreutz. I am the president of the Frederick Douglass Foundation of New York. And I want to start, I always like to start off by just giving thanks to God. He is the source of all that I am and everything that I do. So all glory be to God, all honor and all praise. I also want to thank my husband, Matt. He's over there. He's with me tonight, and we travel together as much as God allows. And he really is the strength of our family. And I wouldn't be able to do the things that I do or say the things that I say without him there holding our family together. So thanks, hon. Are there any veterans that are here tonight? If there are, if you could please stand. And if we could just give them a round of applause. It's only because of the great men and women like those people here tonight that we're able to stand here in such freedom and gather the way that we